Hey everyone, and welcome to this Rapid Talk English explainer. Look, if you've ever felt that absolute sudden spike of panic when someone asks you to just talk about yourself in English, well, you are in exactly the right place. Because today, our goal is simple. We're going to decode the absolute most important English questions, give you the best answers, and actually explain the strategies you need to build real, undeniable speaking confidence. We're breaking down how to transform from a nervous, hesitant speaker into someone who can just navigate any conversation with total ease and authority. So let's jump right in. Okay, let's dive right into our Level Up roadmap for today. We are covering 5 big things: the ultimate English question, mastering casual small talk, acing the job interview, tackling tough interview questions, and finally, winning with body language. Moving right along. First up, Section 1, the ultimate English question. So, we really need to confront the single most common, yet literally universally anxiety-inducing prompt in the entire English language. You know the one? Tell me a little bit about yourself. It's that moment the spotlight just suddenly swings right onto you. But, here's the real secret. Whether you're sitting down on your first day of a new English class, or mingling at a party, or even sitting across from a hiring manager for your absolute dream job, this isn't a scary test. It's actually an open invitation. It's an opportunity for you to steer the conversation and highlight exactly what you want the other person to know. Moving into Section 2, mastering casual small talk. To really master this, let's start with the basics of just a totally easy, everyday introduction. When you're in a casual setting, you're basically pulling from these building blocks: your name, where you're from, your job or what you study, your family, your pets, and maybe some hobbies. But hey, the biggest takeaway here is that you absolutely do not need to use all of these at once. No way. You shouldn't recite some long robotic list. Instead, you kind of just choose 2 or 3 of these elements, right? It just depends on the situation, and it really lets you show off your unique personality. Just look at how effective this approach is in practice. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a student. I love cats and pasta, but I don't like to wake up early. And this brilliantly illustrates our point. Notice the structure she uses here. She gives the basics, name and occupation, shares a couple of quick likes, and then throws in a dislike. Adding a relatable dislike, like, not wanting to wake up early, instantly makes the whole introduction friendly, human, and super conversational. It basically gives the other person this incredibly easy opening to laugh and say, "Oh man, me neither." All right, leveling things up. Section 3, acing the job interview. But what happens when this situation isn't casual anymore? It's time to level up to the high-stakes environment of an American corporate job interview. Now, what's really interesting to compare here is the stark contrast between the 2 settings. When a hiring manager asks, "Tell me about yourself," trust me, they do not want to hear about your cat or your favorite pizza. A professional introduction requires you to focus strictly on your education, your work history, and your specific experience. So instead of saying you like art, you'd say you graduated with a master's degree in toy design and have 5 years of experience leading creative teams. You see the difference? You are literally curating your past to prove you're the absolute perfect fit for their future. So you might be wondering, how do you actually prepare for this without sounding like you're just reading straight from a script? Well, our source material outlines a highly effective 3-step preparation strategy. First up, write down key phrases, not full paragraphs. Because look, if you write a whole paragraph, you're going to try to memorize it, and if you forget even one single word, you'll probably freeze up. Second, practice free talking out loud using just those key phrases. And third, and this is the tough one, record yourself on video, watch it back, and critique your own performance. I know, it's pretty uncomfortable, but it absolutely works. And that brings us to a truly vital concept, especially for non-native speakers: muscle memory. This is literally the physical act of practicing challenging English words out loud 10, 20, or even 30 times in a row. Because think about it. Under the intense pressure of a job interview, your mouth gets dry, your brain starts racing. It happens to all of us. But by building this physical muscle memory beforehand, your mouth is going to naturally know how to form those difficult syllables without you even having to think about it. It is exactly how you overcome pronunciation anxiety before the interview door even opens. Next up, Section 4, tackling tough interview questions. Now that you've got your introduction down perfectly, it's time to step into the shoes of a real strategist. We need to look at those rapid-fire questions interviewers use to truly test candidates. Starting with the classic trap: what would you consider your greatest weakness? We really have to acknowledge the fear behind this question, right? It feels like a trick, like it's designed to make you accidentally disqualify yourself. But the source material reveals something super interesting. The employer is actually just testing your self-awareness and your honesty. They know nobody's perfect. They just want to see if you know you aren't perfect. and more importantly, what you're actively doing about it. So to answer this, we use what we call the weakness formula. First, you state your weakness honestly. Please, whatever you do, don't use the old "I work too hard" line. Second, explain how it actually shows up in your day-to-day work. And third, and this is by far the most crucial part, share the specific active ways you are improving. For instance, our source material uses the example of a candidate who struggles with public speaking stage fright. Instead of hiding it, she totally admits she gets nervous in front of big audiences, but then she explains that she is actively seeking out presentation opportunities so she can learn to actually enjoy the experience rather than just survive it. See? Brilliant. Okay, then you're almost definitely going to face a behavioral question, like, can you tell me about a time you suffered a setback? Now, remember, this isn't actually about the failure itself. This specific question is designed to reveal exactly how you handle frustration. Do you immediately blame other people? Do you just throw your hands up and give up? Or can you maintain your enthusiasm and successfully lead your team right out of a crisis? A really fantastic way to structure this answer is around the concept of a blessing in disguise. Reframing a negative event into a hidden opportunity. To really illustrate this, our source shares an awesome anecdote. So there was this project leader who spent 2 whole years developing a toy, only to have a competitor launch the exact same toy first. Talk about a massive setback, right? But instead of panicking, she actually went out, bought the competitor's toy, had her team study every single one of its flaws, and then they launched a far superior, upgraded product 6 months later. She literally turned a total disaster into the exact reason for their ultimate success. Next, they're going to test your ambition with this one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This prompt is all about measuring if you're actually invested in building a future with them. A truly strong answer aligns your own personal, professional growth with the company's continuous growth. So you might say you want to be in a vice president position, focusing on development. That shows you actually plan to stick around and climb their specific ladder, rather than just jumping ship in a year. All right, as the interview starts to wrap up, you will invariably hear, "Do you have any questions for me?" Now remember this, an interview is always a two-way street. Yes, the company is interviewing you, but you are also interviewing the company. This is your moment to figure out if this workplace environment is actually a good fit for you, and of course, to show them you are deeply invested in the role. Now, check out this absolutely phenomenal question from the source material. You ask them, imagine looking back in a year. The person you hired exceeded expectations. What did they do that impressed you the most? Wow. This specific template is incredibly powerful. It effectively forces the interviewer to just step out of their rehearsed corporate script and reveal their true, unspoken expectations for the role. It shows you exactly what you need to do to succeed, and trust me, it leaves the interviewer incredibly impressed by your forward-thinking mindset. Finally, Section 5, winning with body language. So let's shift to the final piece of the whole puzzle. Look, you can have the absolutely perfect answers, but the unspoken communication you give off, that's what truly cements a great first impression. In American corporate culture especially, an energized demeanor is highly expected. You need a firm right handshake. You need an upright, alert posture. So, not slouched, but definitely not stiff as a board either. You absolutely must have an engaged face, which just means smiling and nodding to show you're actively listening. And interestingly enough, using strategic humor is actually encouraged. It shows personality. For example, when they ask for your greatest weakness, deadpanning chocolate, well, actually, just kidding. Right before delivering your serious answer is a brilliant little way to break the tension. It shows you're a pleasant person to work with. Just, keep it to 1 or 2 jokes maximum so you stay professional. Ultimately, mastering English communication, whether you're just chatting about pizza at a casual party or literally negotiating your future in a corporate boardroom, it all comes down to targeted, structured preparation. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. If your absolute dream opportunity called you tomorrow, which version of yourself would answer the phone? The one who panics or the one who is completely prepared? Start building that muscle memory today. Write down those key phrases, practice out loud, and craft your perfect introduction. Thank you so much for joining me on this Rapid Talk English Explainer, and I will see you in the next one.